Greetings, brothers and sisters. Shalom, assalamu alaikum. It's wonderful to be back with you here on Points of Light Radio. I hope you're enjoying the journey so far. Now, if you recall, in my April 24th segment of Points of Light Radio, I interviewed a gentleman named Azouf. He was a member of the Elks Lodge in Edmonton. While setting up that interview, I had a conversation with his wife, Sharon, about the Canadian Royal Purple Society. It is kind of it started out as the sort of the women's auxiliary part of the Elks, and it's evolved since then. And I promised her that I would feature the Canadian Royal Purple Society in a future segment of Points of Light Radio. And that's what I'm here to do. Now, just to give you some insight, for those of you who don't know, the Canadian Royal Purple Society started out as I said, the women's branch of the Benevolent Protected Order of Elks. Now, they describe themselves as a fun-loving, dynamic, dedicated group of volunteers helping children in our communities. Now, their webpage says that they're 56 lodges strong and support over 500 local charities across Canada. That's amazing, really. Think about that. And they continue to grow. Their purpose is to develop teams of skilled, successful volunteers serving Canadian communities. Now, my guest today for this segment of Points of Light Radio is Sharon of Azouf, and she's a member of the Canadian Royal Purple Society here in Edmonton, Alberta. She's also the past president of her lodge in Edmonton, Alberta, and is currently the president of the Canadian Royal Purple Society in Alberta. Now, she did tell me that she's babysitting her great-grandson today, so I'm hopefully I won't have to talk too fast here. I don't want to keep her from doing that. So let's go talk to Mrs. Azouf. But as I always ask you, are you still searching for the light? Are you still hungry for knowledge? Then just trim your lamp and follow me. After this.
Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of light and secret knowledge wherever you may be, you are listening to Points of Light Radio, the podcast dedicated to taking you past the apron and behind the closed doors of lodges everywhere. And here is your host, Stan Miller.
There we are.
Mrs. Azouf, welcome to Points of Light Radio.
Thank you. Thank you.
You are a member of the Canadian Royal Purple Society. Why don't you tell us my listeners and viewers about yourself?
Well, I joined the Royal Purple in Edmonton 30 plus years ago and have been going strong ever since. Been president twice and am currently president of the Alberta Royal Purple Association for the lodges in Alberta. We are a non-profit organization, and we have had lots of causes, lots of different things that we've supported over the 100+ years that we've been in business.
Okay.
And we have lodges, 23 lodges in Alberta, and we basically work together. Our lodges usually give out donations in their area. where the lodge is, and sometimes as well outside of the area, such as iStar and Ronald McDonald House. Camp Hee-Ho-Ha is another one of the big groups that we give to. And this year, our national and provincial organizations are supporting brain injury awareness and looking at prevention and awareness of brain injury within and interpersonal violence. And by helping the various shelters, we just had on October 20th, we had Purple Thursday, where right across Canada, our lodges gave care bags to various shelters in the area that they had. And they collected a lot of personal stuff that could go to the people in the shelters. So I think that across Canada, there was around 1,000 bags that were given to shelters. In Alberta, we had probably about 400 of those bags going to shelters in Alberta. So it's huge because of the we have to raise awareness on brain injury. It isn't always sports related, and it isn't always just from accidents. There are babies that are born with brain injuries, children riding a bike, all kinds of accidents and things that happen. And across Canada, there's a brain injury happening to 275 people every 3.5 minutes.
Wow.
It's huge. So with knowing that, we have joined forces with brain injury and interpersonal violence, because that is one of the big things too at the shelters, the interpersonal violence and brain injury. And that we're finding out so much and how vast that is. Other than that, do you have questions for me? I could just
that's fine. Yeah,
talk forever.
Okay, I just let you talk there. That's great, and it's wonderful the work you're doing. And now, are there any other Purple Society branches in, shall we say, the U.S. or other parts of the world?
They have an Elks down there, but no, not really Royal Purple.
Okay, so this is so you're saying it's a uniquely Canadian organization.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, and and we work together as lodges in each province, and it's fun. It's we try and make it so it's not all meetings and humdrum. We are in fact, on the 19th of November here, on the Saturday from 12 to 4, we're having a membership drive in Edmonton at St. Luke's Anglican Church, 8424 95th Avenue. If anybody's interested in helping or joining the fight against brain injury, you're very welcome to come and learn more.
So do you have a mixed lodge, or is the Purple basically just women only?
No, we have mixed lodges as well. We have quite a number of men across the provinces that have joined the Royal Purple. And so it's good. It is, once we realize that, we have to become inclusive. Mm-hmm. That's what we did, is we invite men to join us as well. And of course, they do give us a lot of input and interesting different ways of looking at things.
Well, what is the name of your Purple Lodge? What's the name of?
My lodge is Edmonton Royal Purple number 22. And like I say, the national and provincial part of our organization is joined forces with brain injury and interpersonal violence, as have some of the lodges. But the lodges also give to a variety of charities within their community. In Edmonton alone, we give about 10 different donations annually, and iStar is one of them, which is the Institute for Stuttering and Research at the university. Campi-Ho-Ha is one of the big ones that we mentioned as well. Just everything. The school lunch program, Ronald McDonald House, Compassion House, just tons of stuff that we donate to through the year.
Does the Purple have a degree system?
What do you mean, a degree system? No.
First, second, third? No, you don't do that?
Well, we have first, second, third. We have a president and vice presidents, and they sort of move up through that area till they become the president, and then they're a past president. So, okay. And then we have also committees, and a lot of our members belong to what committees they would like to belong to. They have their choice.
You say you're the president of the Purple here in Alberta. What exactly would your role be with that? What would you do? What are your duties and responsibilities?
My responsibilities. Well, I'll tell you, we have a board meeting once a month. We have 3 other vice presidents. We have a secretary, treasurer, and we decide various things. For instance, last night we do have a newsletter out every month. It's called The Heartbeat, and a couple of our members look after that. And we also have been requested to have an award ceremony. It's the QE2 award ceremony by the government. So we're looking into that, and there are some 10 members in Alberta that award will be bestowed upon. We also have committees that we have a social committee, finance, judiciary, membership and marketing is a big committee. It's a huge area, and we're always busy boosting and doing stuff like that. And marketing, we have a little bit of stuff for marketing, such as we had soap from the AGM that we still can market. And we're looking at maybe having a shopping bag with the CRPS on it. And our main thing for raising funds, of course, is casino. That really helps us, donate hugely to the brain injury societies in Alberta.
So you run a charity casino or something? Yes,
we do. Yeah.
Whereabouts, in the lodge or?
No, it's at the actual casino. We have in the Alberta Royal Purple Society, we're able to run a casino in Calgary.
Okay.
And many of our lodges also have casinos that they run.
Okay. Now, you've been involved in this. It started out, as I understand it, the Royal Purple started out as a primarily women's organization. I've heard it said that women are better fundraisers than men, or better organizers. Would you agree with that, or would you?
I tend to agree with that. Women aren't afraid to work, and they will work their heart out for what they're passionate about. And this year we're finding, after we had the Purple Thursday, that a lot of our members gained a huge amount of compassion. And I think that is as well, simply because of the COVID that we've come through. And it's been hard for our members not to be able to associate with each other in that 2 years, And this year with the Purple Thursday, it just sort of gave everybody a huge boost of energy and sense of belonging and getting things done together again.
Well, you said that it hurt your members. What would you say the makeup of your members were? Young, old, men, women? What would you say?
Well, we have a couple of men in our lodge in Edmonton. Actually, to be truthful, we have 3 men in our lodge. And, but you know, everybody's aging out.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that's happening to a lot of organizations. We're finding. So hence we have a membership drive coming up on the 19th. And we're hoping to get, you know, somebody that's very interested in joining us and helping us with the fight against all the stuff that happens in this world.
Well, now you talk about this membership drive. What do you feel the Purple need to do to stay relevant with, shall we say, millennials, to attract more millennials into your lodges? What do you think you need to do?
Well, we have definitely been trying to change our image. Our image prior to was we're just little old ladies that do bake sales. With the excitement of filling the Purple Thursday bags and getting to meet the CEOs of the shelters and stuff like that, it has given everybody a renewed sense of cause. And I think that's very important, that people feel like they belong to a cause. And I think that I did see in the day that we had the Purple Thursday distribution, how excited the members of my lodge were. And we had in Fort Saskatchewan, the mayor of Fort Saskatchewan also did a proclamation for Purple Thursday, as did many of the lodges in Alberta. Many of the mayors in the little towns that we're in, they did the proclamation for Purple Thursday being the 3rd Thursday in October. So this is an ongoing thing that will continue for hopefully for years.
And what are the qualifications for membership then?
Well, qualifications, you have to be 14 years old.
Okay.
And a Canadian citizen, period.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what drew you to the Purple?
Pardon me?
What drew you to the Purple? Was it in your family? Was someone else in your family involved in it, or?
No, actually, I worked with a lady who was Royal Purple. And it took her 2 years to get me there, I'm sorry to say. But we had just moved to Edmonton, and it was in 1978 we moved here. And of course, my kids were teenagers and were busy with them. I had really been busy working a full-time job back home and taking kids, you know, wherever they have to go. And I thought when I got here, I think I'm going to settle down and I'll just do things with the kids. So that happened for 2 years after I moved here. But what drew me to it was I went to one of the meetings, and at that meeting, I met a young fella who had a video. He was brought to the meeting by the people from iStar. And he had wanted to be a policeman. And of course, he stuttered. So because he stuttered, it was a detriment to him going into something like the forces, like how do I talk to somebody that I have to help, you know? So that's what he told me. And so they did show a video of how he spoke before the training at iStar. And then he did stand up and talk to our membership. And it was totally amazing. It was totally amazing. And I thought, well, now I can meet people that were helping. And it was just amazing that he now had at iStar three weeks of training on how not to stutter. And I'm sure like he did have to go back for updates and whatnot, but he was able to go into the forces. And that was his dream, to be a policeman. And, you know, if we can give a person the dream and pay for because it's not cheap to have those types of services available to children. So we would give donations to iStar to help with the finances of any of their students.
And what has it done for you being part of the Purple?
What has it done for me? I would say probably it made me less shy and able to talk to people on a reasonable level, you know, without sort of hiding in the corner. It's really really interesting to see yourself grow through the years. When I first went into the Purple, I went in 1992, and a year and a half later, I was next to the president. And it's like, holy, how am I going to do this? But you learn, and there's a lot of education and stuff that happens at the lodge level, at the provincial level, and at national. And of course, you do have to put a certain amount of your own time into it. It's a volunteer position. You don't get paid for anything unless it's something that you've been asked to do. And then they will reimburse whatever it might cost. But all in all, that's basically what I've done over the last 30 years.
But what could the Canadian Royal Purple Society do for others that might be thinking of joining?
I guess it would give others maybe something that they believe in, whatever cause they believe in, and to bring it to the forefront. We would help them in that instance, right? It gives them, if they're shy like I was, it gives you education, self-esteem, just personal things, friendship, lots of friendship. And and you get to do what you want to do. You're not forced to do it. You know.
Well, I know you said you were going to be looking after your great-grandson today, so I'm going to leave you to that. I appreciate your time today. All the best to you and your organization.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a good day. Sharon Azouf, brothers and sisters. So what did you think about the Canadian Royal Purple Society? Some things I took away was it was amazing the number of charities they were involved in, how very involved they were in the community. Her lodge especially sounds extremely involved in the community at the different shelters, helping out with stuttering, the societies that deal with stuttering, things like that. I think that was incredible. And the amount of good this particular organization is doing here in Canada, I mean, I can't believe they're not in other parts of the world. I really can't. And I love how this is a distinctly Canadian society as well. That they're, and that kind of, gives us all a bit of pride here, doesn't it, here in Canada? And I love her passion. Talk about what it's done for her and how she loved being involved, how Sharon loved being involved, at the organizational level, right? Lodges need people like that. And we will definitely have to feature the Canadian Royal Purple Society again. And here again, we've had the question come up, right? What can these different fraternal organizations do to attract and bring in new members? Now, they're doing it sounds like her Royal Purple Lodge is doing something right. Okay. They're active in the community, right? So they're trying to maintain some visibility. But obviously that's not really enough. So we have to, what else can they do? What else can not just the Purple Society, but others do because this is a topic, like I keep saying, that keeps coming up. How can we make this attractive to millennials? Like, right? What do you think? Okay, let's see some of that in the comment section down below this particular video, right? But unfortunately, that's all I have time for today. But before I go, I want to remind you that this podcast is available on both YouTube and Spreaker. Please share, like, and subscribe when viewing Points of Light Radio on YouTube. You can follow Points of Light Radio on my Facebook page at facebook.com/Points of Light Radio. My Twitter handle is at PO Light Radio. You can see the link to my Spotify channel, as well as the link to my Points of Light Radio store, right? I also want to point out that Points of Light Radio is available to advertise your fraternal store or event. Just get in touch with me. You can see the link to my Gmail address in the detail section of this particular podcast, as well as the link to it on my Facebook page. But brothers and sisters, until we meet again, just step into the light.